What's good, Raider Nation? Welcome to Monday Night Madness. We might not have all predicted the Raiders to win, but did we think it was going to be a complete disaster? Let's talk about it. Monday Night Madness is where your voice takes the mic. This platform is for the dysfunctionally passionate Raider fan to provide their overreactive analysis, provide their emotional persuasiveness, and a chance to be grossly opinionated. When you take the mic, your hot take doesn't necessarily reflect the beliefs of all of Raider Nation or of this show. There might be cussing, arguing, and fans appearing on camera that aren't camera ready. Everyone is welcome to take the mic and join the madness.
If there's anything we've ever done that I'm particularly proud of, I would have to say that the perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders, to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
I think this journey is the most special because there's not a lot of people that have the opportunity playing in high school and college and then pro and then being injured and starting coaching as a young coach.
Can portray me any way they want because I don't give a damn. I am what I am, and until those people touch me close enough, they'll never know what I am. If they want to see me in this interview or in a newspaper article and say, what's the matter with this guy? Let them say it. But don't you analyze me and don't you tell me what I am until you get close enough to understand what I am. Then you can make an analysis of me. But don't you dare do it until that.
Clicked in my mind that if you just run through somebody's face, a lot of people ain't gonna be able to take that over and 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 over. Run through a motherfucker face.
The mental side of the game is taking me to the next level, and it's true confidence. It's feeding your brain elite of elite. And as I always talk about 1% and more is required, and I always say these things, but it's what I live. I see it everywhere I go because you have to constantly train your mind for greatness.
Spicy Raider Girl couldn't be here with us tonight, so there's a stand-in, an anonymous season ticket holder joining the show. Hi guys, how are you?
Man, if I was at home, I would have had that right. I would have been right there with you.
Well, welcome to the show.
Oh, man.
Join us live if you want to join us on this disastrous of a game.
All right.
Oh my God, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I think the whole Raider Nation feels that way. I mean, I think we all put on our paper bag after that game for at least a minute, man. Like, ouch.
It was a tough one. It was a tough one. Like I said in the opening, maybe not all would have predicted that they would have won that game, but we didn't think it was going to be the disaster that it was. Not even able to score a touchdown. It was pretty disastrous, which is our drinking game alert for tonight. If you're playing with us, every time we say that, we probably say just a little more just to have some fun. And remember, light that torch, hit that like button, subscribe, and join to become a member. We're going to go over some hot takes here, special team issues. Geno now leading the league with 9 interceptions. My goodness, what in the world happened with Jermaine Pratt and that? Well, I guess it wasn't a trade. I don't know why I put trade. Released. Some injury updates, and can you believe we're through I guess with 17 games, we're almost through the first quarter of the season, so we're going to assess it, and is it over? But before we get to that, Scotty, what's your hot take on personnel management?
First of all, before we get started, can we just have a moment of silence? All right, that's enough. The Raiders are dead and gone. We're done. It's too much, but my hot take for today is what are we doing with our personnel? Why are we playing people in the wrong position? Why are people retiring on us before the season starts? Oh, why is some people getting benched? Why are we insisting on quarterbacks and our sons to coach these teams? Something's wrong. Something's really wrong here. The whole JPJ. That's my hot take. What's going on with the personnel management here? It seems like there's a major problem there.
Yeah, and speaking of, well, we're going to touch on that, but just to look at personnel over the past several seasons, I mean, look at this is a big problem, I think. We can start here. I know you're talking about this season in particular, but when you have this much overturn, we've said this over and over and over again on this show, when you have this much overturn in any company, you can't change your CEO and your president and everything over and over again and can think you're going to have continued success. So this is what we looked at over time. So we'll talk about that as well as what group here do we like the best? It doesn't even matter. Omar, what do you think about the personnel management?
Definitely. Turnovers can kill any organization. You can't, if you're going to plant a seed, you got to give it time to grow. And this right here shows you we have not given any of these regimes any time to grow. Now, I understand thinking that, okay, you may need to make a change. What happened with Gruden sucked. I think that season where Gruden, with the emails, I understood it, but it really kicked us in the gut because I think we were in the best shape we had been in a while for that season. So, and then we brought in McDaniels, was just a mistake from the gate. It was a mistake. He got a season and a half, and it was bad. And for me, that was very warranted. We had a guy who had a chance. This wasn't his first rodeo. This wasn't a rookie head coach with his first start to make rookie mistakes. He had already done this, and to come in and just do what he did, I mean, that was warranted. Of course, you guys know, I think we made a big mistake with AP. I think we should have just stayed the course with AP and gave him another chance. I think the start of this season is definitely proving that we should have stayed with AP. And now here we are. And I think right now we may be in, just to Scotty was saying, personnel, which is definitely on Pete Carroll, but also did Spytech do enough in the offseason to bring us in some good players to make a good push. You know what I mean? So I think between Carroll and Spytech, there's enough blame to go around of why we're in the position that we're in right now. I definitely see a lot of coaching mistakes. I've never seen our special teams this bad in I don't know how long. Hell, special teams, I remember when the special teams carried us. You know what I mean? Like, so to see special teams this bad is crazy. I mean, the coverage has been terrible. If it wasn't for a penalty, that score would have had 7 more points on it if it wasn't for a penalty yesterday. So this is just, like I say, and I mean, we have the same defensive coordinator, but this defense looks worse. You know what I mean? So if you got the same, program, you bring in players, what's going on?
Well, that's
secondary about AP. To your point about AP, you said you thought they should have kept them and let everything kind of, run its course. Well, I'll say this to that. Whether we disagree with that or don't disagree, I think what we can all agree on is looking at this graphic, the demanding of firing and overturning every year and a half, and every other year is certainly not the answer. So if we want to talk about things letting it run its course, I think we have to let this run its course. We have to manage expectations, and we can't give up on Pete Carroll and his plan and the Raiders. Week 4, week 5, something, going into this. It's just we can't keep doing that year after year after year. Whether we agree with this lineup in terms of coaching lineup that we have now, I think we need to give opportunity for things to play out. It's way too soon. Is the season over? Probably. Is it too soon to explode this new plan? I think absolutely. Scotty?
Yeah, I agree. We should stay the course. I definitely agree. I was going to finish with that, but
no, I think we have to stay the course of, but I think it's going to cost us. And I know nobody wants to hear me say this, but I think it might cost us our best players to turn those into draft picks. I think that's going to be what it's going to cost. I know everybody hates to say that because I know what everybody's thinking, what player everybody's thinking, but I gotta go back to what I said 2 years ago in the draft. If we had given up the players that we had, that we gave up any damn way, we would at least have a quarterback right now.
All right. So that's a good point, Scotty. We kind of talked about, obviously, this coaching situation, but more so on, you touched on in your opening, the personnel and how they're being played. So we can go back and forth on who we should have had, who we should have traded for, this, that, and the other. How about the management or mismanagement? Because that's a big talk right now, as you said, right? About the players we have, the weapons we have, how they're being used, the players we have, and where they're being played.
So, something seems off. This is very Josh McDaniels-esque. I'm going to do it my way, period, and point blank. Why are we insisting on Geno? Why are we insisting on JPJ playing at guard? Why are we insisting on certain players not getting in the game? There's just this insistence on doing things that don't seem to make any sense. And it was the same. It was the same thing with McDaniels. I'm not saying the whole coaching thing, but McDaniels also seemed to insist that this is the way I'm going to do it, and that's that. Well, that's what this seems like too. And it didn't work then, and it's definitely not working now.
Well, to your point, and I know that the Raiders don't have to sit in a press conference and tell us and tell the rest of the world and other teams, but the only thing I can think there must be reasons, right? There must be a reason why they must not have faith in other guards and things of that nature to move JPJ to center. That's the only logical explanation I can come up with. They're not going to tell us, unfortunately, but they must be seeing things in practice that we obviously don't see, that they don't have faith, and they're going with the personnel in the positions that they're in.
No,
I mean, the scary. I was going to say, but the scary part about that is it's not just offense that nothing is working. I mean, if you look at some of the defense that we played yesterday, just to stop the run didn't work. If you look at the defense that Pat Graham ran last year, and you look at those holes in our defense this season, I mean, it's crazy when you say, you know what I mean, when you look at what they're doing and how it's not working. It's just not working on every level right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's weird because, you know, every season if we had a defense, if we had an offense, if we had, and we don't have shit.
Anything.
Well, let's touch on the special teams issue, right? Omar said that sometimes it's like we can never get everything working together. This year, it seems like special teams seems to be a big issue. We've got, one blocked kick and a very, very meaningful blocked kick against the Bears. We have 3 blocked punts. These are numbers that we're not seeing from these guys typically. So what does it come down to? Does it come down to the special teams coach? Because what's really changed? We know we have good kickers. They've proven that over the past several years, and now we've got some very major issues, and we're letting the teams get way too many yards on returns.
Honestly, I have to go back to
terrible.
I have to go back to the personnel. It can't be that all 3 facets of the game are failing this horribly, and they are failing catastrophically. So I have to go back to that locker room must not be very happy right now. There's something going on there. There's something going on. I know we're going to end up finding out about it, but something's happening. Again, like you said, with special teams, that was always at least solid. You know, we always had a field goal coming to us. You know, because we could never score a damn touchdown. We always had a field goal coming. We can't even get that. You know, or that's the only thing that we get. And no touch, but every facet of the game is failing. So that to me is leaning towards a lot of people aren't happy, and
I mean, even and aside of that, I mean, if you think coverage, tackling, things that these guys have been doing since they were kids, I mean, this is why. I mean, we had, what was that? Not last week, not this Sunday, but the Sunday before, a run back and a big run. I mean, 2 just bad coverage. I mean, that's just fundamental football right there. You know what I mean? So that's just it's terrible coaching, man. I mean, you gotta help some of these guys out and have them in better positions, and you gotta get them down to to some of those fundamentals like tackling.
But I mean, I can't lay it 100% on the coaching either. I mean, some of these guys are veterans and they're not doing their thing. So. Yeah. They've had several different coaches. So again, the personnel and the coaching is failing also. You know, it's everything across the board right now. And everybody wants to put a lot of blame on Geno. He deserves a lot of blame. There's no doubt.
He does.
There's no doubt about it. But damn, every other facet of the game is failing also.
Well, you meant
I mean, just check this out. This Sunday, our guy Max had 0 sacks.
Yeah.
Nothing.
There's been a few Sundays. I think he only has 2, doesn't he? Does he only have 2?
Well, I'm just saying when even your best player is neutralized in whatever, let's just say whatever plays are being called on defense, and or whatever's going on in that locker room, you know what I mean? That's bad. That's just bad.
Well, you guys both touched on what's going on behind the scenes, and that leads me to this Jermaine Pratt release. Something is definitely going on. I don't know if it's throughout the entire locker room, or if it's this individual that had some sort of issue. I know you guys spoke of him having a very bad last game. We had talked about that. However, when you don't travel with the team, that's usually not what happens. If you have a bad game, shoot, the entire team wouldn't have traveled with the team. Nobody would have went to Indy, right? So that can't be the reason. So something must be going on there, because you don't just have a bad game, not travel, and then get released after 4 games after signing a $5 million multi-year contract. Something is going on there.
Yeah.
Right.
There's some the locker room is lost. There's just no way around it. The locker room is lost. I don't know what it is. I heard somebody alluding to the fact that, he criticized JPJ and made some moves with him, but he hasn't criticized Geno Smith, and that's his guy that he brought from Seattle, and that's something. I don't know what there is to that, but there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect between players and coaches right now,
and especially if these guys, they bought in, but then they're losing them. You bring in a guy, let's just say Pratt was just a terrible fit, and now they're looking at these guys like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You bring this guy in since he didn't want him, and you bring him in and he's screwing us up. You know what I mean? I don't know if that was the case, but you definitely, just from working in the workplace, bad hires can hurt the whole team. And if he was a bad hire, that looks bad on Spytek, that looks bad on Carroll. You know what I mean? And then to say after game 4, we got to go our separate ways, people start losing faith into your plan now. You know what I mean? They're not believing in the plan like they was early on.
Given, right? There was no reason given other than it wasn't an injury issue. So there's some undertone there. We're not going to tell you why, but we're going to let you know it's not because he's not capable of physically playing. So there's a little undertone there as well, I would say.
Yeah, and the JPJ thing, he comes back and then they don't play him, and then they play him the next game. And why didn't you play him? Is he ready or not? It's too many things, and it started in the off season with Christian Wilkins. I'm sure Christian Wilkins was trying to kiss guys before this, but for some reason it came about in the Raider locker room. And then Amari Cooper's let's go to the Raiders. And then he decides to retire. Something's going on. Something's going on.
So who do you think a good fit would be to replace him? I know Malcolm Kuntz has been in the talks. Jamal Adams has been in the talks. I believe there was somebody else that I can't remember off the top of my head who might be in that position. Who do you guys think is a good replacement for this? And it's a huge shakeup. I think when you come into it, I digress here a little bit. When you come into this is like a morale thing, a team thing, a mental thing as well. That's part of it. Like what is going on there? But besides that, who replaces him?
To replace who?
Pratt.
Oh shit! I can replace him right now at this point. It don't fucking matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, Omar, do you have any thoughts besides Scotty?
I mean, hopefully we'll see Jamal Adams more. You know what I mean? Because he was balling out, and hopefully we'll see him more with White. And is Landon still out? I can't even remember if Landon is still out. So
he's in.
He's back. So. That should be it.
Just didn't run over. That's why you didn't hear his name.
You know what I mean? But I mean, we got that zone. I mean, and I'm going to be honest. I think one of the biggest hurt is the secondary. I mean, the holes that these quarterbacks have to throw on us. It's like the Red Sea out there. I'm like, where Moses at on the sideline parting us, because it's crazy. Dude, so we got
throw after throw after throw right there in that soft zone completion, right there in the soft zone.
The whole zone.
On prize picks, I had Daniel Jones to rush for 17.5 yards, and I picked more, and I did not win. I didn't win. 17.5. He didn't have to scramble. He didn't have to do shit but sit back there in the lazy boy and just calmly toss the ball right past the secondary because he had a wide open receiver every damn time.
Well, what do you always say, Scotty? You say this week after week, season after season, the Raiders are best. Their biggest talent is making either never has-beens or already through with, I don't know the saying, of quarterbacks. Making good quarterbacks look great. Put it that way.
We should be the Las Vegas nurses because we give CPR to some dead ass motherfuckers that come to play against us. We give them life every damn time. Darnold, the Bassett from Chicago. That dude from Chicago. What was it 2 years ago that came and whooped our ass? We heard of him that game and ain't heard of him since. But in our game, he lit us the fuck up. He lit us the fuck up. And I don't even know if he's still in the NFL. He may be selling tacos over there in Chicago, so I don't know where he's at. But we ain't heard of him since. How many quarterbacks do we revive? Didn't we just revive Marcus Mariota? I thought he was dead. Nope, beat us too. It's
a disaster. Well, let's get to some of these comments here. Remember, if you want to join us and speak your mind, we want to hear from you. You don't want to hear from us, so take the mic. It's linked. The StreamYard link to join us is pinned to the top there. But let's say what's up to some of these peeps in the chat because we appreciate you joining in with us. We're like our little emotional support team here. What's up, Alpha and Omega? He says, I remember when special teams was never an issue for us. We look worse than last season now. He also goes on to say, Mark Davis needs to call the coaches on the carpet and tell them to fix it and hold each other accountable. Players giving up and not putting in 100% effort like Max has been. He's been doing it all by himself. Let's see. Let's get some more here. Trader Travis, what's good? Thank you for always being a supporter of this show. We appreciate you. April, yeah, we know, girl. We know. We hear you. You know what? I will say this.
First quarterback in the league right now.
I'll give her this. I mean, again, I don't think AOC will be doing any better. However, we were blaming the first maybe 3 weeks or so. We were blaming the O-line a lot, and we were kind of giving him a pass. I say when he's leading the league with 9 interceptions, throwing in triple coverage, not moving, you kind of got to put it on him now. Maybe he is the problem.
It's worse than that. It's worse than that. Yesterday, I was having fits. I mean, that pass, I'll just start with 2 passes. Just 2 okay, 4. I'm lying. Can't stop at 2. I got to do 4. Hold me to 4. So 1 was to Thornton. Thornton is 6'5". Okay.
Yes.
He had 1 defender, and Thornton had to come back for the freaking ball. Gave the defender a chance to make a play. He's a rookie. That defender's hand got up in there. Thornton don't make that. He didn't make that catch. If he would have threw that thing over the shoulder and kept Thornton in stride, Thornton makes that catch and he got it.
Drove me crazy.
Same thing with Tucker. When he threw the bomb to Tucker, Tucker had to come back on it. Defender was able to tackle Tucker when he caught it. Next play, Geno throws a freaking pick. So we would have probably that would have been 14 points. I don't know. I can't say Thornton would have made a touchdown then, but that would have continued that drive and we would have, been in position to make a touchdown. Now, those are 2 throws that Geno, being the veteran, should be able to make that read. That is helping your receivers make a play, especially those are 2 fast-ass receivers. You want to hit them in stride so they can do their thing. This man can't do it. I'm like, dude, take away the crossing routes because now I see why they were giving Geno all these damn intermediate crossing routes because I think he's lost his arm or something. I don't know. Maybe I got to go watch some more Jets film or Seattle's film because I don't have enough knowledge of how Geno used to throw the ball. I'm only really paying attention to him right now. But those 2 plays right there says all to me about Geno. Then other 2 plays, and I'll just summarize that up real quick. Holding the freaking ball too long. You're not doing your offense any kind of favors. Now, first I was saying, hey, Chip, give him some short throws, this and that to help them out. Geno, now that it was on you. In the red zone, I even saw somebody to your right wide open. You're trying to run to your left. You take a sack. Dude, for real. So yesterday, It was terrible. Geno Smith all day.
I think this comment by Big Daddy Jose, what's good? This sums it up pretty well. Sup, familia? What's up, my friend? The Pete Geno honeymoon is officially over. Pete's loyalty to Geno treatment of JPJ has Pete lost the locker room?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Yeah, you're right on. That's what I was just saying. I think the locker room is lost right now. I do. There's too much turnover. There's too much things that don't make any sense. We've sat up here and we've tried to make some type of logic out of what doesn't seem logical. LOL, it's got to be this, but it's too many things. It's quacking like a duck right now. You know, it's just not.
I saw Geno with enough time yesterday to make some plays.
Yeah, he could have made some plays. And you're right, he was hanging on to the, and then he had another one to Genty where he threw it to him in the flat, and Genty's contorting his body to try to get the ball when he could have put it right in his hands. You know, it's just it's a lot.
Omar, you were at the game. What was the vibe? What was the vibe like in the stadium? Were there a lot of Raider fans? What was the vibe like?
You know, there was a decent amount of Raider fans. I mean, it was still, you know, dominant Colts fans, for sure. But you know what? I like how they get their crowd going. You know what I mean? And the in-game experience was good. It's just the Raiders didn't show up, man. I mean, literally, I think Colts fans just left us alone in the stadium. I mean, they were talking more shit the night before. Jaw jacking, yeah. Like, it was like, you know what? They were showing me mercy because it was just like, oh, damn. You know
what I mean? Like, sorry, brother. Sorry, man. Like, we're going to leave it alone.
It was a little jaw jacking in the first quarter. All of a sudden, towards the second half, when it was 20-3 in the second quarter towards the half, they were just kind of like, yeah, it was just kind of like, yeah, we kind of got this. Dude, by the third quarter, they weren't saying nothing. They were leaving. Colts fans was like, we got this. They were leaving in the end of the third. Hella Colts fans was like, man, they can go have fun. That game was won. And they knew it. So, yeah, that was it,
well,
man.
If we go to the comments, April says, put me in, and I think that means at quarterback. So April at quarterback, I take Jermaine Pratt spot. Can y'all play offensive line? I think we got something here. I think we might have a team. What's happening? Y'all down or what?
I mean, and the line, and the line did bend and break. You know, Forsythe was playing left. He gave up a sack. He did, you know what I mean? But 2 sacks was on Geno too. You know what I mean? Out of the 4, I'm going to say 1 was the left tackle's fault, 1 was the right tackle's fault, and 2 were Geno's fault. So, and Geno shouldn't even be in the conversation for being the reason that he got a sack. This man doesn't know how to throw it away. I'm just like, dude.
You know what? Right?
Like you're a veteran. Come on, dude.
You can throw it inaccurate. All right, but damn, you can't even throw it away. Fuck. Hit the sideline. Can you do that? Fuck.
That's why I was yesterday. I was just like, dude, Geno. That's why yesterday Geno looked extremely bad to me.
Buddy, do you need to borrow my paper bag?
Oh, dude. I give me.
We all need a paper bag, man. Sure.
It's
I'm
just
like, and then
it's like what is this? Like do we need to like be kicked out of the league and bring an expansion team in so we can get our shit together? Or I don't know. Are we an expansion team? Well, maybe you are an expansion team right now. I don't. It's just bad all around. Somebody asked me. I was watching the game here in LA. Somebody asked me, "Well, what do you think needs to get fixed?" And I was like, "Well, how much time you got? It's like this, and it's this, and it's this, and it's this."
Let's start there. Let's try to figure it out, honestly, right? Because but here's the thing. We always say this too, right? Manage expectations. So everything's not going to get fixed overnight. It's not going to get fixed in one season. We had been saying all along 2028 might be bumped to 2032, so we got some time to think about it. What's an immediate need that the Raiders need to do to at least make this season not a disaster and make it somewhat salvageable? What is realistic? We sit here and complain about it all day and say how terrible our quarterback is and blah blah blah. Fortunately, I don't think that's going to change. What can we do to make it? What do you guys think we can do to make an immediate impact?
First of all, you're better than me because you're still talking about this season. That's number one. When you started the question, I was already like, hey, we've been kicking the can on getting a quarterback for a long time, and that's where I was going. And then you turned around and told me, what can we do to fix this season? Shit.
Well, just to make it not completely embarrassing, just to improve on last year.
I think we saw a little bit of what we need to continue to do is feed Ginty some more. I really do. I think that's number one. Our backup tight ends, I'm sorry, I thought they played well, and I thought, hey, we need to use them a little bit more. And I thought, why aren't those two guys on the field at the same time? Because this line still needs a lot of help. So I've been saying 2 tight end sets, feed Ginty more, shorter throws. I think help get Geno in rhythm, man. Just give him short throws, stay away. I'm going to go right back to staying away from those damn intermediate crossing routes and shit. Thornton, throw him up then. If you can't throw him in stride, jump ball. Let the man go up. He's bigger than most defenders, so give him jump balls. You know what I mean? If you're going to give him a 50-50 ball, let it be 50-50 in the air so he can go up and get it versus where that defender can get more of his hand up in there. So those are the things that I would do. You know what I mean? And I think it's because, and I'm assuming that he's not going to leave Geno Smith anytime soon, because the other thing is, yeah, dude, let's see what, does Kenny Pickett have anything until AOC gets back? You know what I mean? We've seen AOC. Let's see Kenny Pickett. You know what I mean? Will he be the next Daniel Jones who goes to another team and start lighting shit up? I don't know. So
well, Jose Salgado, he had some suggestions. He said feature Ginty more, replace Dante with Jack Betch immediately.
The thing about what you said, Omar, is I think you're right. Start featuring Ginty more, but the problem is that'll work for 2 games, and then they're gonna stuff the run because they're gonna know we can't do anything. So it's kind of a patch to it. And I dig what you're saying, but I think at the end of the day we just.
I feel like the talk about benching Geno, I get. If the Raiders, and I know we're going to go, this could go 20 different ways. If the Raiders would have at least drafted some sort of quarterback because Geno wasn't going to be the answer for the face of the Raiders and the franchise and the next guy for the decade. If they would have drafted somebody that we were hoping could learn, like it's happened over and over again. We've seen it over and over again. It's actually happening in New York right now with the Giants. If they would have picked somebody, I would say, bench him and give that rookie a chance. Unfortunately, we don't have that option. That's the only reason I think you kind of got to stick with him. If we had that option, I know people are going to say, oh, yo, Kenny Pickett's good. That's the guy. I'm not so sure I really buy into that. Maybe at some point. I think it's too soon for that right now. It's not really going to matter, honestly. Yeah, it's not going to matter.
I mean, until you have a proven franchise quarterback, we should be using a decent pick every damn draft on a quarterback. I mean, we waited until what? We picked a quarterback in what, 6th or 7th round? Is that Cam Miller, I think? Is that who we did pick? You know what I mean? Montana State or something like that. And like I say, that to me is not a serious quarterback pick in my mind.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean? That's kind of a
we
hell of a Hail Mary.
So Chris D says, can we start with fixing the O-line first? It's been terrible since the Carr era, then build from there. Season's over. So he thinks that's part of the issue. April, I'm not so sure about this. I'm not sure we all thought he was the guy. I think we
thought he would be better than what we had.
Right, which wasn't saying much.
I did. I thought he was going to. No, I just thought he was going to be better. I thought, hey, he's going to be better than what we had based on what he did in Seattle. And April, we didn't get Seattle Geno. We got New York Jets Geno. So we got hoodwinked. We got bamboozled here. All right.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thought he was the answer. But again, we got to stop kicking the can and passing by quarterbacks. I'll tell you right now, I'd rather see Shedeur Sanders making these mistakes than Geno.
All right.
At least he's got somewhere to go. At least that would be Shedeur Sanders' basement and not ceiling, because this is Geno's ceiling right here. That's all he can do.
That's what Cold Coffee TV says. If Pete would have just drafted a rookie QB, Shador, in round 3 maybe, instead of trading for
We could have got him in
player
the fourth.
Gino, that contract, no one would have had any expectations.
Oh, and wait a minute, and we would have saved $75 million to put it on the O-line.
And you guys, what happened to these calls and stuff that we heard about from Tom Brady? And he has been, dude, I don't see any Brady-esque anywhere. I'm like, I can't even believe they were saying that shit. And then this is what this is the quarterback play we got. I don't recall anything Brady did was leading the league in picks. So I think they need to talk some more.
Yeah, I don't know. That's another weird thing is, what is Brady's role here? It's so vague. Is he doing something? Is he not doing something? Is he giving us hints to what he's reading in the press? And is he not? Is he picking the quarterback? Is he pulling the string? That's real funny to me too. I don't know what he's doing.
I read today, I think it was Arizona Raider Nation was like, Pete Carroll said he was going to have us competing. I didn't know he meant competing for the first overall pick in the draft.
That's funny.
I was like, oh my God, damn. Like, hey, well, who's the quarterback coming out? Is there like a great quarterback coming out? I don't keep up with college ball, so I don't know what to get excited about.
Yeah.
But Scotty, to your thing about Brady, it intrigues me that that's even a narrative, because there are other owners as well, a very well-known one and a very well-liked one in Lincoln Kennedy. I don't hear anyone bringing up his name and what does he have to do and what does he have to say and is he pulling strings and this, that, and the other. So, I mean, it just interests me that like Brady is so prominent in this narrative as if he has some sort of something going on behind the scenes that like is so hush hush or something like that. I don't know. It's just very interesting conversation.
Yeah, when I talked with Lincoln Kennedy, I asked him about coaching. Would he ever coach? And he basically gave me a look on his face. He said no, but his look on his face was more like hell no.
But then then you have to think about it. These guys are buying into this franchise for a lifetime, right? They didn't buy into the 2025 season. They're buying into it for a lifetime. I think they think at some point that the team's going to turn around and hopefully they could, get on a streak where they can start winning consistently again. I don't think this was like, hey, we're going to purchase this team and we're going to have this great answer and be great all of a sudden. And then if they're not, we're going to sell in a year. Like, that's not what's happening here.
Well, maybe they're regretting it.
I mean, from a business aspect, they're still worth $1 bajillion. So what's the regret? Their pocket's getting fatter.
I mean, but also too, the dust is still settling on their ownership. So I mean, the upside is hopefully to the point you were making earlier, Spicy, with showing that what the past 5 years have looked like with turnover. Hopefully that is what we're going to see change. You know what I mean? Like, just like we all said, even though we got complaints up the wazoo about what we see, hopefully they stay the course. Spytek's a young GM. Hopefully he learns and grows. Stop freaking saving $48 million in cap because it ain't doing us any damn good sitting in your bank. It needs to be on the field, and it's showing that it's not on the field. So hopefully that's a lesson that we learn too. Kind of spend some money so we can get a better product out there, and we'll see. I mean, I guess we're just going to have to suffer through. We know historically Pete Carroll is a good coach. So you know what? Maybe this season he has to weed through some people who aren't buying in. And that can happen. Sometimes that happens when you bring in a new leadership. Some people don't buy in. And guess what? You got to kind of move on from those people and stay the course and, get some people in. But I would have thought that Chip Kelly would have been a better offensive coordinator, at least in my mind, from what he's done, that he would have made better use of the pieces he had. And that's the one thing that I mean, to me, that's not rocket science to use. If you got two of the best tight ends in the league to use them, of course, you couldn't use them yesterday because they're out. But, even when the trouble started, we weren't using them. So we'll see later on in the season if he makes any changes like that to help this line out, because new O linemen aren't going to pop out of the bushes unless we use Grant, who we drafted, unless we pull him up. Hopefully Colton will come back. So we'll see as this season goes on if people do start kind of rebuying in, they lick their wounds, you know what I mean? And they kind of like, maybe they had higher expectation of themselves and maybe, and looking at what they're doing and saying, oh, fuck, we suck. And so,
well, you said it yourself, Omar. Pete Carroll's a good coach. He's been proven to be different team, different personnel for sure. You look at somebody like Andy Reid, also a very good coach. How long did that take him to turn around that Kansas City team? He certainly didn't do it in a season or overnight. It took a very long time for him to make those changes. And then it didn't really come until years later, until they were to draft a quarterback. And then even then,
got a quarterback. Till they got it.
But they didn't get it right away, Scotty. Right. They didn't get it right away.
No. But that's exactly my point.
Part of it, right?
But they didn't get it until they got a quarterback. That's my point. We need a quarterback. We got to stop kicking the can. We got to build around that quarterback.
We all can agree on that. But the point is, I think what Omar and I were saying is, and going back to the Brady thing and the personnel change, we've got to stick the course. Pete can believe in at least something, believe in a good coach in Pete Carroll, which is, I think, what Omar said, and not give up on that. Let it play out. Let it happen.
Sure. No doubt about it. But we have to get a quarterback.
Correct.
I'm not saying
we also have to realize that in the analogy or whatever, the comparison to Andy Reid, none of that happened overnight. He didn't get his quarterback the next day. He didn't get nothing happened overnight. They became successful. Took probably almost half a decade? How long?
I don't know.
Longer? A long time.
I don't know. But at the end of the day, the formula is the formula, right? You got a coach that can win, and you need a quarterback that can win too.
Right.
The formula is the formula.
And we need the personnel to quit overturning, and we need to somewhat believe in. Maybe just that's all we can. That's all we can think or focus on right now. I think we can't keep focused on fire.
No. I don't think it's fire. We got. I think the coaching personnel is proper as far as they're not some guy we just pulled off the street, but you can't just fire them. They need time to work. I get that.
For sure. Let's go to these comments here because we'll want you to be part of the show, everybody. And again, if you want to join the show with us live here, you can go ahead and link in and join us. We see some new people in the comments as well. We appreciate you joining us. Remember, if you haven't already, light that torch, hit that like button, and subscribe. It's free to subscribe. And also you can become a member if you want. John, what's good? He said Raiders need a defense. They need a lot of things. That is definitely one of them. GPS Rob, what's good? Gino just needs to straight up retire, he says. All right. Jose, Pete's favorite uncle routine has worn out the players. 2 moves would give him an immediate respect. 1, bench, I think he said bench Gino, and 2, move JPJ to center. No,
wait. You got to address the fact that he said favorite uncle routine.
Right. Well, they all get their names, right? AP was the hoorah guy. Like, this one's the favorite uncle. McDaniels was I never said this, but McDummy. So we dub. Listen, this is what the Raider fans do. They dub the names, and this is going to be my second point. 2 moves would give him immediate respect, and this is who I want to ask. Immediate respect from who? Is that from the fans or the players? Because quite honestly, it doesn't matter what the fan. He's not trying to earn the fans' respect, I don't think, in this and doing these kind of moves. But if it could earn the respect of the locker room, that could be a different conversation. So let us know just clarify there for us.
That's difficult because if you bench Gino, who do you go to?
Right. Well, look, it's gonna be a crapshoot, right? Either this Pickett guy is gonna do just as well, and we're gonna have low expectations, and everyone's gonna say, "I told you so," or he's gonna come in and be even worse, and then everyone's gonna say, "Well, you should have stuck with Gino." This man is not gonna be able to make the right decision in any one of these fans' minds. I don't think. I think that's been proven. Raider Twan, what's good? QB is not the number 1 priority. I'm guessing you're going to say the O-line is with that comment, but let us know what you think about that. Alpha and Omega forever. Gruden would have never been okay losing like this.
I don't think anybody is.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I dig your point. You know what I'm saying? I know what you're trying to say, but nobody is.
Yeah. Scrap life,
Definitely.
trash to cash. He says Pete will be fine. Max want him gone. Pete is a loser. Okay. Jose, what's good? A franchise quarterback will coming to us next year's draft. A great year for quarterbacks in the draft. Let's hope so. To you, I can't remember. I think Omar
Right.
might have said this. Maybe Scotty, maybe both of you. But yeah, I think it's time to just start drafting some quarterbacks. I think we said this last season, jokingly or not. We were like, draft them all. Draft them
Right.
all.
Don't
And see what
stop until
sticks.
you have a franchise, till you have a proven franchise quarterback, not someone you just gave the keys to, like we did with Geno. Someone who's proven. Don't stop drafting.
Here's the thing. And I know everybody doesn't agree with the whole Shedeur Sanders thing, but if Shedeur Sanders had the same exact numbers as Geno does, at least you could say he has only up to go from there. But I think he could. How could you be worse than the numbers that Geno has put up? So I'm saying let's start somewhere with some quarterback that's not a 7th or 8th round pick. Let's start somewhere with somebody that's got some talent, that's got something going for them coming out of college that you could build off of, even if he's not perfect today. And that's better than we got right now. Because
I hear your point. I disagree with the statement only because we've seen it year after year with our fan base. I think if they would have drafted Shedeur and he would have the same record, there would still be chaos and uproar and I told you so and he's terrible and we shouldn't have drafted him, and it would have been that same narrative. I don't think we'd escape that sort of narrative.
Sure, absolutely. No, I 100% agree. But the difference is this is Geno's ceiling.
Totally. And no, I get what you're saying, but
yeah.
I think you also said people would have a difference of opinion. I don't think they would.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah, there's always going to be an I told you so. Yeah, I get
it.
Okay.
GPS Rob said Max looked stressed out on his last locker room interview. Dude, I look stressed out. Everybody's stressed out. They're 40 and 6 and 1 and 4. I would be like, I don't even want anybody in the locker room or in my face. I need to get up out of here.
I think everybody, hey, if there was any player or coach not looking stressed out, I would be concerned.
Seriously. Honestly, I don't even like the fact that they let the media in these guys' faces immediately after. The fact that these men are actually able to compose themselves and he only looked stressed out and didn't cuss anybody out, I think it's pretty impressive.
For real. Yeah, it's
Alpha and Omega forever. Spytech has to pull the trigger on a QB or set us back another 10 years as a franchise.
Definitely.
Raider Zach, franchise QB isn't coming next year, more likely if we win 5 or 6 games.
And we're going back. We can rewind the tape to go back exactly a year ago. And I think this is where we were at, where I was starting to say, it might be better if we stop winning games, because I know that's
no, not that again, Scotty. Not that again.
I don't know what to tell you. So we win another 4 or 5 games and then get what? You still kick the can on the quarterback that comes. You're still kicking the can.
They've had good draft picks. That's not the answer. They had a good draft pick, right, in Genty last year, and they only won 4 games. They had a good draft pick in Bowers the year before that. So, you just really want him to lose out for what? For what?
No, I don't want him to lose out at all.
Oh,
but you can't get around you can't get around losing out, and at the same time get a good quarterback. That's contradictory. So it's not that I want them to lose out. It's that's the only remedy.
Scotty, I think you're missing the point. They don't have to try to lose.
I didn't say
it goes without trying, okay? Don't stress yourself over the effort in it. It just happens.
All right.
It's just we're just
But we may have a chance this week going up against Tennessee.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, Omar.
Battle of the bad.
Let's pivot into that a little bit. You spoke about it when we were speaking, ahead of the show. what do you think? Are we gonna make ourselves be a presentable, respectable team next week?
No.
No, I
No.
think I think it could be an ugly game that one bad team could win over another bad team.
No. Why would we change course? Tennessee's got the number 1 pick, star quarterback, just won this past week. He's coming off of a natural high. Tennessee's going to whoop our ass because at least Tennessee has a couple. No, we don't have special teams. We don't have defense, and we don't have offense. And they're going to whoop our ass.
They don't have
being optimistic about it
rush,
because
so
we
Gino,
just can't. We just can't be.
They don't have much of a pass rush, so maybe our line will look a little bit better. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. I'm definitely managing my expectations here on out.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a choice.
Yeah,
but the only opposite part of that, though, is at least Tennessee has a rookie quarterback to be excited about and see him develop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're sitting here waiting for a veteran to behave like a veteran, and play like a veteran. So that's that tough part.
Watch that rookie quarterback run all up in our ass, just like all these has-been quarterbacks have been.
The thing that gets me that I just don't think, and this happened back in April. I was shocked when it happened then. Is when they signed Gino for multi-year. They signed him for 1 year, and then without even one throw, one practice, one visit, I think even they signed him for multi-years. Now, to me, that when they doubled down like that, I was shocked. But the fact that they did that still has in the back of my mind, like Pete Carroll's not just going to be like, yeah, let's bench him or let's trade him. Because that's part of the reason I think that they're just going to ride with him.
Oh, they're going to ride with him. They're going to ride with him.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Like I said, he's been stubborn about everything else. That seems logical.
Uncle Stubborn.
Unless Kenny Pickett is lighting it up in practice or something like that. Yeah, I don't, I'm going to take it as a sign that, in the next 3-4 games, if Gino is still being Gino and there's no improvement, that Kenny Pickett obviously is not playing any better in practice. You know what I mean? To make that change. So
I wonder if what was it, McDaniels? Somebody pressured McDaniels into making a change. I can't remember exactly how it was, but I wonder if that's going to happen to Pete Carroll, and there is going to be such an outcry over Geno Smith that he's going to end up putting in
from the players.
Yeah, and the players and the fans.
I don't really think. I think the fans have more little impact than we tend to try to give ourselves credit for.
I think there's some impact, but okay, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think social media.
If I walk over to the facility and hold a sign for the next 3 weeks with a sign that says "Fire Gino," they're not going to go. You know what? We were waiting for. Oh, that's what we didn't think of. Yeah, you're right.
That's not what I'm saying. But I think when there's pressure coming from all sides, I think it tends to matter.
But I think it's the internal pressure. That's why I keep saying if another quarterback is lighting it up in practice and looking better than Gino, that's the pressure that would be needed for them to make a change. And if that is not happening, we're not going to see it. And I believe that's going to be the only thing I think that Pete Carroll is going to pay attention to is that, oh shit, this kid is looking really good at practice. Gino is still sucking it up. I better make a change. Or if you look at, well, these guys don't look any better than Gino. So, you know what I mean? I believe that.
Basically, you're saying is that Geno Smith will be the starter through the season because Kenny Pickett isn't all of a sudden going to start lighting it up in practice. It's not going to happen.
No.
That's not going to happen.
And if that's true, then we don't want to see him on the field. If Kenny Pickett isn't lighting it up, there's no Raider fan that would want to see him,
I think Pete Carroll should take his punk ass over there and take some hits so he can get his shit out together and start winning some games. Put him in at quarterback. Shit.
Dang. Cool says Omar, it's time to put on the slippers. The season is gone. sideways. Damn. Yeah. 5 games in and we done. She gone.
April's over there like, finally, somebody.
AOC, we need you now, mijo. Be our savior. Well, first he's got to get on the man, and then he got to, like I say, light it up in practice, man.
Right.
Yeah, I think we may not see another quarterback unless Gino gets hurt.
This I can agree on. We are the definition of insanity right
now.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is a good question. I like this. Chris Dees, do y'all think this will affect Raider Nation with going to the games? Let's wrap it on this, and let's give our yes or no and why we think so. What do you guys think?
100%. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I am not spending money to go see another Raider game for them to put up this bullshit. I'm not doing it.
Okay, Omar.
I think that's it. I mean, I stick to my plan. I got my games planned out, and I try to stick to it. But I'm dang sure not gonna scrape up for that extra one because nothing's gonna sound like a good idea to go see. Like, why? You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna go beyond my plan and do anything extra. And going into the season, I had already made a very short plan. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm gonna go to these few games, and that's it. It's kind of, I was already on wait and see, you know what I mean, just to see what we're gonna do, and then thinking, all right, so, but yeah, no, and now you got to think too, all this losing, you're not gonna get new fans, you're definitely not gonna do any building locally with those, unless, here we go now, and here's my only caveat, unless those ticket prices just absolutely collapse and they're $100. You know what I mean? And they're like $100 tickets going down, $50 tickets going down. I remember back in Oakland sometimes, like right at game day, you got $25 tickets or some shit like that. That's the only way I see now you're going to get some Raider fans that wouldn't ordinarily go to a game, go. Because if they're not excited because this team is winning, then the only other thing is going to be is because, oh, I got a free ticket or I got a cheap ass ticket. So that's the only way I see more fans going. You know what I mean? At this point.
Well, here's the thing. Will it affect Raider Nation? I'll answer this question specifically before I digress. Will it affect Raider Nation going to the games? I think, yes, the answer is yes to that. It will affect Raider Nation going to the games. Guess what? It doesn't matter because those seats are already sold. Those seats are sold out. They made their money. That stadium's going to be full, and it doesn't matter if Raider Nation is in those seats or not. And if you don't go, guess what? Then the other team will have even a greater home field advantage. So y'all can sit at home and pout about it, or you can go to the game and cheer them on. It's probably going to impact people's decisions. I'll be one of those. I'm not going to sit home and pout, but yeah, I would rather. It's not very enjoyable to be there, to be honest. And yeah, so it will impact it. But guess what? It doesn't matter because they still going to make their money, and it's going to give the other team even more home field advantage. So,
yep, and yep. So I think we're all three agreeing.
And I actually
playing badly is not going to put a lot of Raider fans in those seats.
Totally, and I actually would care more if it was enjoyable. I want them to win 100%. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to go where they're losing and it's not enjoyable. And you could disagree with me on this, fans, if you want or not. But at least when in Oakland, they were always lost there too, but it was enjoyable for me anyway. It was enjoyable. It was fun. It was camaraderie. It had the vibe. It was fun to be in the stadium. It's not like that for me anymore. So it's like you got to be one or the other. You got to win games. You got to make it fun.
Go to cities you've never been before. It's very fun.
That's a hell of a way to.
I have great.
That's a hell of a way to put it, and I can't agree with you more. You got to win or you got to make it enjoyable. One of the two. That's yeah.
Even though that game was terrible, I got to admit I had a great time in Indy. Good Lord, I had a really good time. So that's going to be my season this year's away games.
Well, Omar, I'm glad you had a good game. I want to give I would like to give a special thanks to our special guest today. That showed up.
Other side. There we go.
Our special guest, he showed up in Spicy's place. You might see a special anonymous guest in the stadium.
Right.
No promises. It's kind of really hard to see out of here. Look, at least she tried to look cute. She looked a little scary, but she tried. Anyway, just having some fun. All right, Raider Nation. We'll see you next Monday. And we go out one way and only one way.
Only one way.
Tell me, come on, Scott.
Raiders.
All right. Peace out, Raider Nation. See you next week.